Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another speculation video. So you may remember a video I did towards the beginning of January where I speculated about possible future worlds that could come to The Sims 4. Back in 2020, we did get a couple of pretty interesting surveys that asked for our opinions on various ideas that they could possibly do in the future, and some of those things have actually come true now. And one of those surveys had this whole list of worlds that they could end up doing. I wanted to revisit this particular part of the survey in light of the Carnival streetwear kit being officially announced, and it taking a lot of inspiration from Brazilian culture and even teaming up with drag queen Pablo Vittar, because it certainly does remind me of one world that was on that survey. So bringing up this list again, one of the worlds that was listed on this survey is Brazilian Beach Town. So it does make me wonder if this kit could end up hinting at a Brazilian world coming to The Sims 4 in the future and making it even more likely. I don't think every single kit is hinting at something, but I think it would be quite interesting if that did end up happening. Even though Jungle Adventure Selva Dorada already represents South America is more than just jungles. Like, imagine if our only US-based world in The Sims 4 was Oasis Springs. Not all of the US is a desert, so yeah, it would be nice to see a bit more South American representation in the form of worlds, not just create a sim items and food. I also wouldn't mind seeing another world that does have a beach as a main attraction, because not all beaches are the same. Like, the ones in Sulani are really nice and they have this closer to nature feel, but I wouldn't mind seeing a beach sort of world that is actually like really close to a city. For example, I did live in Australia for a year and a half, not too far from Surfer's Paradise, where there's skyscrapers literally across the street from the beach. One day I may end up doing a wishlist video about what I'd like to see in an Australian world in The Sims, but I think the whole beach city thing could be pulled off in a Brazilian world as well, because maybe it could take inspiration from a few different cities in Brazil, such as Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo, and then you could also have the beaches that are part of the city as well. I know I am drifting away from the whole Brazilian beach town thing, but the last world we got was Henford-on-Bagley, which was a town as well, so I am feeling like I'm itching more for a full-on city rather than just a town or like a suburban thing. But either way, I think the chances of us getting a world inspired by Brazil is more likely. Not extremely likely, but I think there is a possibility that we could get that in the next game pack or the next expansion pack. Because the next game pack is probably going to be just about weddings, but I could be wrong. It could be a broader love theme. And also, what comes after the wedding is the honeymoon. So if they added a new world that could kind of go with honeymoons and having a beach, then, well, a Brazilian beach town could actually go pretty well with that. However, one thing that I think does reduce the chances of this actually happening quite a bit is that the next game pack is probably going to come out pretty close to the Carnival streetwear kit. So I don't know if they would do a Brazilian kit and then the very next pack, maybe not even a month later, also be Brazilian themed. That would be even less subtle than when they had cats and dogs and then my first pet stuff released just a few months later. As for the next expansion pack, I think that does depend on whether we're getting one in summer or in the fall, or if we actually are going back to 2 expansion packs a year. But if we do get one in summer, then I think it is more likely that we could get a Brazilian world, because they do quite often nowadays seem to coordinate different pack themes with the time of year. I mean, even that game pack that I just mentioned, it's going very well with Valentine's Day and spring being sort of like the season of love. So yeah, it seems like that is something that they are still continuing to do. I'm just not really sure what the gameplay theme would be of an expansion pack with a Brazilian-inspired world. Maybe it could be focused around bands, because I mean that is definitely an idea I've been fighting for. Even though I've just envisioned that as a game pack, that's what I thought about an eco theme, and they did that as a full-on expansion pack, and Well, minus the bugs and a few weird design decisions, I ended up really enjoying that. I think it could also work as an unexpected but interesting twist. Like with Snowy Escape, I think many of us were expecting a sort of like Swiss Alps type of world, and there even was a Swiss mountain town suggested in that survey, but then they did a Japanese-inspired world instead, which I think was pretty good because we didn't really have anything set in that part of the world in The Sims 4 yet. So even though I've been thinking, oh well, maybe a band pack could take place in a Scottish-inspired world, I would be fine with it being in Brazil as well. Another highly requested theme is Generations, and with Generations being such a broad family theme, I don't think it necessarily has to be sort of like a white picket fence suburban world. It could be just about anywhere. So I think that could be interesting if they did that sort of twist. It's also worth noting that if the next game pack is all about weddings, weddings were a major part of Generations for The Sims 3. So the likelihood, I think, is going up even more that if they do a Generations expansion pack for Sims 4, that it will have a pretty different direction from what we might expect. That's pretty much all I have to say for now, so I think it is an interesting idea. We did get that country kitchen kit, and then months later we got cottage living, so I don't think it's impossible for a Brazilian beach world to happen in the future. And if we do get an expansion pack in the summer, then I think it could actually happen. Also, since it seems like they're just never going to update the older worlds with ocean swimming, it would be great to have another world that would have a lot of swimmable water. I'd love to see The Sims explore more parts of the world that they either haven't explored much of yet, or at all. And I'm not just saying this about The Sims 4, I'm including the previous Sims games as well, because they really haven't explored all that much of South America yet. But feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think it is more likely now that we will get a world inspired by Brazil in The Sims 4? And if you do, what would you like to see in it? And what sort of gameplay themes do you think it could match up with, especially ones that have been asked for quite frequently? And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content, including life simulations and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!